We need both types of stories in our lives. It's important to have a mix of positive and negative experiences to learn from. This is why the Bible is considered a classic book. It contains a collection of stories that include both positive and negative examples, offering valuable lessons for us to understand and apply in our own lives. The Bible is a timeless source of wisdom because it provides insights from various situations. It's not just a book. It's a fascinating compilation of stories, visions, poetry, and history. The nuances and various ways it presents information make it unlike any other collection of documents I've come across. The richness and diversity found in the Bible set it apart, offering a unique blend of literary elements that capture the essence of human experience and wisdom. It stands out as an unparalleled source of inspiration and insight, making it a treasure trove of knowledge for those seeking valuable lessons and perspectives. Picture a list of stories divided into two parts. One about people who sorted things out and another about those that threw it away. There are stories about people who paid attention and those who didn't. Some grabbed their chances while others let them slip away. An assortment of stories split into two categories. One to learn from, known as examples, and the other to be cautious about, called warnings. If your story ends up in one of those books, make sure they use it as an example, not a warning. Remember, it's essential to learn from both. Pay attention to both the negatives and the positives. Imagine you start reading a book. In the first chapter, everything seems good. Chapter 2, still fine. Chapter 3, all good. Chapter 4, still fine. Would you want to finish this book? Probably not. What kind of a book is this? Your life story isn't going to be like that boring book. Instead, it will be packed with exciting moments, both the good and not so good times, just like the seasons, winter, spring, summer, and harvest. So, if you got that, now the third season, do the work of summer. Be both optimistic and vigilant. In leadership, we share this lesson. Find out what poor people read and don't read it. It's not hard to understand. Notice how they talk and avoid talking like that. Also, figure out what's not helping them and discard it. Learn from negative as well as positive. Imagine you say to Sarah, let's meet for breakfast tomorrow morning at this delightful little cafe with exceptional service, and I'll take care of the bill. So you meet up, and over breakfast you ask Sarah, I'm really curious, how did you establish such a wonderful connection with your children? Sarah shares, honestly, 3 years ago, my kids were completely unruly. Then I stumbled upon this book and attended a class where they introduced a simple 1, 2, 3, 4 method. I've been applying that for the past 3 years. And that's how I developed this special bond with my children. Wouldn't that breakfast be incredibly valuable? You'd happily cover the bill, right? Access to such helpful information often comes at a small cost. How much is a book that could potentially make a significant difference in your life? How much is a conversation that only requires a bit of your time and effort? Here are two important words of antiquity. The first one is behold, which is a positive word from antiquity. The second word is beware. One of the interesting beware in the Bible is, it's like a short story that goes, beware of the little foxes that are spoiling the vines. You can see a vineyard and it seems fine, but this story says you need to look closer. The little foxes may be eating the vine. Even if everything looks okay, whether it's your friendships, the work chance, your future, your life, time management, your health, or anything else, I'm asking you to behold the possibilities and beware the dangers. That's the important thing. Now, there are 3 ways to learn the good stuff. Remember these. First is to observe. We learn from what we see. We even record some of it on video so you can watch. We invite you to come, not just to hear, but to come and see for yourself. Witness people in action who have accomplished things. Come and see. Be a good observer. One of the best schools is the University of Life. So stay alert all day and learn. Some people are doing well, while others are not. Learn from that every day through what you observe. Be a keen observer. Don't be casual. Now let's talk about getting information. it can help your life. Casualness leads to casualties. Whether it's on the road or in life, you can't be careless about your health. The results won't make you happy. Being casual about a marriage won't lead to a good outcome. You can't be casual with a friendship. You won't like the results in 5 or 10 years. We must all pay attention, especially in the next 5 years as we prepare for the start of the new millennium and century. A fresh beginning, a new opportunity. It's a chance to create new experiences in a new era. These next 5 years are crucial. So pay attention. Another way to learn from others is by listening. We often record it on tape so you can listen. It's like someone talking to you repeatedly. Turn your car into a mobile classroom. Make sure to do your part by listening. Pay more attention when the preacher speaks on Sunday morning. Listen to the words of the song. Sometimes songwriters are like today's poets. Pay attention to the lyrics. Listen to the conversations in the movie. Don't just be caught up by the story. Do your share of listening. Part of the opportunity to learn is to listen well. Now, here's my final point on listening. Be a careful listener. Don't fill your mind with a lot of things that don't matter much. It's like tuning in the radio. You need to ignore the noise, the foolishness, and you have to filter out the ordinary, things that won't make a big difference in your health, life, future, family, or success. Just block out a lot of that and focus on meaningful voices. That's the important part. Search for voices of value. That's our goal, bringing together valuable voices with a lot to share, backed by a strong reputation and experience. Choose wisely what you listen to. It's important to teach our kids to be selective listeners, not spending most of their time on things that don't matter. That's how life gets eaten up and leaves you with just the shell and not the substance. Now, the third point was crucial. Shoaff told me to read all the books. He encouraged me to begin my library when I was 25. Now, I have one of the better libraries. If you saw my library today, you'd be impressed, you might say. No wonder Mr. Rohn was invited to talk around the world. Look at this library. No wonder he's healthy. Look at this library. No wonder he has something to say. Look at this library. I'm urging you to build a similar reputation. It's no surprise this family is healthy. Check out this library. That's why this dad is well organized, able to share future visions with his family using rich stories. Check out this library. That's why this mom is super confident, leading her kids confidently into the 21st century with her arms around them. No wonder she's so sure. Look at this library. That's why this person has an excellent sales career. Check out this library. That's why this person understands management like no other. Look at this library. That's why this person is an exceptional entrepreneur, creating a remarkable organization worldwide. I want you to build a similar reputation. You need to create a library. I haven't read everything in my library, but I feel smarter just being in it. I was wise enough to buy all the books. Now, I need to be clever enough to read them. After that, I have to be sharp enough to go through them and figure out which ones are valuable enough to bet my money and my time. I want you to follow that same process. Collect knowledge. Don't be lazy when it comes to learning. It's crucial for your future. Don't be lazy about gathering information. That's why I'm grateful you're here, spending your time and taking notes. Some of you have already taken plenty of notes in your life from attending seminars for many years, yet here you are again. If I were in the audience, I'd be doing the same thing, taking notes. Once again, I'm telling you, keep searching for knowledge. Keep learning, because the next idea could make your life 2, 3, 5, or 10 times more valuable. Many people built their fortunes after turning 50 or 60. Why? Because from a wealth of experience comes that next big idea. And regardless of how much you already know, you never know when the last little piece is going to multiply it by so many times, it's unbelievable. In our Millionaires Club, we occasionally have a billionaire speak to us, and they tell us, well, you guys are doing okay, but come on, step up. There's no telling what more you could achieve in the rest of your life. Always be excited to learn. Be eager to collect the next piece of information that can dramatically improve your life in various ways. Read books. If someone says, I want to be a great leader, that's great. The first thing we do is visit their house. When we're there, the first thing we check is their library. That's number one. Someone might ask why check his library. The answer is because what a person reads adds significant ingredients to their mental factory, and their life is shaped by those ingredients. You wouldn't believe the kind of things some people have to read in their homes. It's hard to believe. A good way to describe a lot of it is as trash. Picture throwing a bunch of garbage into your mental factory every day and expecting to have a positive and vibrant life. It's just not possible. I used to begin my day by reading the morning newspaper. Whether you believe it or not, I'd grab a cup of coffee and read about wars, riots, murders, stabbings, killings, bank robberies. I was drawn to that stuff. After filling my mental factory with all that, I'd start my day. You can imagine the kind of days I used to have. You walk around on your financial knees, they call you economic peewee. Read books. Now, Shoaff suggested a few, and I'll share three that got me started. One was the Bible. Thanks to my parents, I was a decent student by the time I was 18 or 19. The Bible is a fantastic collection of stories, visions, poetry, and history. Second one was a book titled Think and Grow Rich. Shoaff asked me, Mr. Rohn, doesn't that title interest you? I said, yes, sir. He then said, wouldn't you want to get that book? I replied, yes, sir. So I looked for it and found it in a used bookstore. I paid less than 50 cents for it, and I still have that copy. Later, I discovered it was a rare hardback cover of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, is extraordinary. It played a big role in changing my life. Now, there are a few odd things in it. Napoleon was from California, I think. But you can ignore the strange parts unless you're into that. Just focus on the valuable stuff. Well, make your own judgment, but this book had a significant impact on my life. Another book that assisted me in becoming a millionaire by 31 is titled The Richest Man in Babylon. Written by George Clayson, this book had a huge impact on my life. Write this down under the title, The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clayson. First, it's easy to find. Most bookstores have it, and if they don't, they can order it for you. Second, it's easy to buy. The most you'll pay is $12 to $15. Third, as you may have guessed, it's easy to read. It's presented in story form, which is why I use it for kids. You can finish it in 2 or 3 focused evenings. If you're really inspired, you could read it in one evening. I hope someone from this audience gets inspired and reads it in one evening. Your life will change, and you might come back to thank me in the years to come. Now let's talk about number 4. It's easy to ignore this little book, and that's the heartbeat of my whole presentation so far. It's easy to overlook this little book, and now I've provided you with the solution to nearly everything. Haven't you ever wished for a simple formula that could give you the answer to almost everything? I've just given it to you. This is it. This is the formula, the answer to almost everything. Number 1, it's easy to find. Number 2, it's easy to buy. Number 3, it's easy to read. Number 4, it's easy not to look. That's the answer to almost everything. Someone asks, why isn't my paycheck bigger? Here it is. I've given you the answer. This is it right here. I used to blame the economy, saying, this is all they pay. Mr. Shoaff told me, no, Mr. Rohn, that's all you're worth. That made me think, whoa, a new perspective. I used to say things cost too much. He replied, no, let's be honest, Mr. Rohn. You can't afford it. That was a new way of thinking. He said, hey, it's not outside. It's your problem. It's you. And this is it. This is the answer to almost everything. It's easy not to look. Over the past 33 years, I've suggested this small book to approximately 4 million individuals through various platforms like satellite and other communication methods. Now, here's an interesting fact. Out of all those people, only a very small percentage have actually gone and discovered this little book. If I were to estimate, I'd say around 10% take the initiative to find it after my recommendation. You might wonder, why wouldn't the remaining 90% seek out this book? Well, the answer, we don't know. Let me share a profound philosophical thought with you today. Here it is. You don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows. Now, some people do, and some people don't. That's the profound nature of this insight. You don't need to be a tech expert or graduate from Harvard to understand this. It's simple. Some do, and some don't. Now, applying this to the little book we discussed earlier, about 10% of people actually go and find it, while 90% don't. Now, here's a little story for you. Guess when I got my hands on this little book? It was the same day I heard about it. The very same day I went and got myself a copy. Now, you might wonder, does that make you different from most people? And the answer is yes. Yes, it does. The truth is, we don't know. You don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows. Now, here's an interesting fact. Only 3% of people in America have a library card. Just think about it. Access to the wisdom of the world is right there. It can transform your health, life, future, marriage, and relationships with your family. The information is readily available. But surprisingly, only 3% of the population in America bother to have a library card. 97% couldn't be bothered with the wisdom of the world. At 5 p.m., instead of heading to the library, this guy is on his way to happy hour hoping to score a 2-for-1 deal. And by 2 for 1, it's not about books. Surprisingly, this person wonders why he doesn't get paid more. I'm telling you, the answer lies here. Here's a piece of advice. Be part of the 10% and distance yourself from the 90%. Don't talk like they talk. Refrain from using the excuses they rely on. Instead, align yourself with the 10% who actively seek out valuable resources, such as the little book we discussed earlier. Be part of the 3% who have a library card providing access to a wealth of knowledge. Consider this. Only 5% of people manage to retire relying on their own resources. Sadly, 95% end up dependent on others. Aim to be part of the 5% who achieve independence. I'm urging you to join the 5%, join the 3%, and join the 10%. By doing so, you can attain the kind of life you've always desired. When you're among those who take action, those who do become the envy of all who watch. The 90% who don't take such steps often wonder why success eludes them. You'll be able to say, here's how I did it. I went and found the book. I got myself a library card. I managed my finances to achieve financial independence. I joined the 5%. I'm asking you to do that.